The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, the 15th chapter. Glory to you, O Lord. Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to Jesus. And the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling, saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." So he told them this parable. Which one of you, having 100 sheep and losing one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one that is lost until he finds it? When he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders and rejoices. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying to them, "Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost." Just so I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. Or what woman, having 10 silver coins, if she loses one of them, does not light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? When she has found it, she calls together her friends and neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, for I have found the coin that I had lost." Just so I tell you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. I invite you to please be seated. Who is the lost sheep? That's always the first question when I hear this reading is, who is actually the lost sheep in Jesus' parable? When we start to think that we have our faith all together, we tend to lean more towards the side of the Pharisees and scribes rather than the tax collectors and the sinners. And the question of who is the lost sheep can make it look like we have it, we are in, and whoever we decide is the lost sheep is out. But when I look at this parable and I think about how we understand ourselves as simultaneously saint and sinner according to Luther's understanding of grace, we are the lost sheep. We are the ones who wander off, who find ourselves in places that may feel disconnected from God. If we think we are all together and aren't lost, that's when we're probably most likely lost. Because we've started to think we've got everything figured out. Either life or faith or whatever we are using to judge it. As soon as we think we are already in, we are already outside. The parable of the lost sheep is about a shepherd who is collecting a flock that likes to wander away. And we are all wanderers. We all get off track and find ourselves in places that are dangerous to our health, our faith, our emotional well-being. But Jesus says, "I will find you no matter where you have gotten lost." The word of hope is not that we are inside and have work to do for those who are out there, but instead to say, we are the lost that Christ gathers again and again and again to walk in this journey of faith. That we are the ones who God calls and seeks out and grabs and cuddles and holds close to bring back. To say, I have the place of safety and protection for you. Regardless of where you find yourself in the world, I am the place of security and safety. Our Old Testament reading is about the Israelites as they are wandering in the wilderness. Moses is up on the mountain talking with God, getting the commandments and preparing to lead the people in a new journey. And the people of God decide that he was up there too long and needed to create a God to worship. Lost sheep? Absolutely. They watched God bring plagues. They watched God open the Red Sea so they could pass through safely. But Moses up on the mountain for 40 days has them terrified enough that they create their own God. Now think about that for a minute. That's how short our memories can be, individually and corporately. What have you done for me lately is not an uncommon human theme. Moses, speaking with God, waiting for this next set of direction, comes back down and finds the people have built a golden calf to name as their God, and then have the nerve to say, and this golden calf is what brought us out of Egypt. Okay, they hadn't been in the wilderness that long. It wasn't that hard to remember, but this is how quickly we can go astray. How quickly we can find ourselves led away from the deep, abiding love and faith in God because we're afraid, because we don't have all the answers, because the one person we were depending on to be our guide is not available. And then we start to create our own religion and our own understanding of faith instead of listening and being patient for God's guidance. The Israelites quickly found a way to replace God when they felt like God wasn't doing enough and fast enough. And the only thing that saved them was Moses pleading with God and reminding God of God's promises to multiply the descendants of Abraham. And God relented. We are lost sheep. Whether we want to be or not, we easily go astray. But Jesus says, the good shepherd seeks out the lost and restores them back into the community, brings them back in even when they have walked away. How many of you have a friend that says, if I ever come into a church, God will strike me with lightning? We've probably heard that, right? These are people who are so afraid of the punishment of God for being away that they can't hear the grace of God about returning to the community and growing in faith. This is the story that I love to share with folks who are afraid to return to church. Jesus seeks out the lost and brings them back in. And did you notice Jesus doesn't yell at the sheep? Jesus doesn't whip the sheep. Jesus doesn't otherwise berate the sheep. Instead, the shepherd swoops up the sheep and carries it back to the fold. Carries it. Not pushes and shoves and pokes and prods. Though I don't know, some of us need pokes and prods. But truthfully, when we recognize we are lost, the shepherd scoops us up and carries us back into community, back into the fold of faith. These words are hope for us as individuals and as people of God, that we have words of comfort from a divine Savior who says, we are seeking out the lost sheep. Not to harass them into coming into the community, but to swoop them up and carry them with joy and celebration into the life of faith. We won't always get this perfectly. Or sometimes we're the one who needs to be swooped up and carried back. But these are words of hope for each and every one of us and the people we encounter, that the shepherd is seeking us out. And the shepherd is ready to draw us back in to the community, into the fold of faith, to rejoice with us and with his friends, which is also us. Isn't that wonderful? We get to be on both sides of this at the same time. That we are the beloved, precious child of God, the sheep of the shepherd's fold. Know that no matter what you encounter in life, Jesus is seeking you out to wrap you in grace, in promise, in hope, and in love. And we can also be that hope and grace and love in the world. You have nothing to fear by walking into a community of faith. What you have is the opportunity for the renewed connection to the one who created you, who loves you, and who sustains you each and